Last time I showed my adventure game, I showed the introduction, set in a downtown park. Here's what the environment looked like then. It had the general form I was looking for, but I knew I could do better. So I did. Here's an improved version of the first destination, the Metagamy Hotel. The geometry of both versions is actually pretty similar. The addition of a couple of curved walls on the front, however, helped establish an Art Deco look for the building, making it stand out from the rest. Let's texture a simple building to show you how my wall material works. The material consists of two layers, each defined by a UV map. The first layer describes which part of the brick wall texture to show. Is the face in the center, on an edge, or even in a corner? The second layer describes which part of the window to show. For many faces, this is blank. For many, it's a dark window. For a few, that dark window becomes a lit window, and for fewer still, a person standing in silhouette. To be frank, I hadn't realized that a model could have multiple UV maps until now. I can think of all sorts of applications where this would be useful, where it could simplify things that I've made needlessly complex. If you're not doing it already, I'd check this technique out. One place I immediately thought to use multiple UV maps was for my character faces. That way I could paint the base color of a character's face right into the texture data along with the rest of the character and have it look natural. The face could then be projected on top using a second UV map. Let's take a look at this model's face layer UVs. Notice that the polygons of the face itself are all mapped within the bounds of 0 and 1, both on the X and Y axis. To put it more simply, notice that they're in the light gray square. I then grabbed everything else and moved it by 1 on the x-axis. That is to say, I moved it outside of the light gray square. Then, when projecting the face, I can easily clip any values that are greater than 1. Here's a quick look at the face in action. I made this animation system years ago and it's still going strong. For this project, I've increased the resolution of the faces from 32 by 32 to 64 by 64. Could modern systems handle higher? I think so, but why push it? Joking aside, the quadrupling of detail really makes the faces fit better with the rest of the environment. Paradoxically, I also find them easier to draw, since more can be defined and less needs to be suggested. There are several controls that can be moved by sequencer or by an animation blueprint. This includes the eye look, X and Y. Notice that the pupils are locked to the pixel grid. Otherwise, the pixels of the eye and pupil could become misaligned. I find 2D art looks bad, frankly, when chunky pixels visibly slide against each other, so I want to avoid that where possible. You also have control over blinking as well as the eyebrows. By combining these various controls, quite a few expressions and emotions can be achieved. The mouth can also be controlled using a simple float value. If we look at the mouth texture, we can see 12 individual shapes corresponding to 12 major phonemes. As we change our mouth value, watch the mouth shape change. For lip syncing, a voice line will require a list of timings for each mouth shape change. I generate this phoneme timing data using Adobe Character Animator. The result is a list of timings, which is unfortunately useless to Unreal Engine, so I wrote a converter in C++ which takes the Character Animator data and converts it into an Unreal Engine sequencer float track. I can paste that track right into a sequence, and there it is. Relatively painless lip syncing. What makes you so goddamn special? Get in line like a regular person. You'll have to forgive the mismatch between my example character and the lines delivered. This is the first and only character model that I've completed so far, and I don't plan on getting an actress in to do voice lines until the script is fully locked down. This was just a proof of concept. I modeled, textured, and animated this character by hand. I didn't really use any reference images. Frankly, I don't have the drawing skills to make a good-looking reference to model against. All I can do is put down some geometry and keep moving it until it looks right. While far from a modern AAA character model, I've certainly played and enjoyed games with worse models in the past. It'll do for my purposes. Thanks for watching.